I got something a little bit unusual today that I spotted at the National Running Show just last weekend, and that are these. These are energy gels, not made from anything unnatural, but instead made entirely from bee juice, from honey, which is, I actually think, well, I thought of this first. A lot of people don't like the idea of sort of the weird ingredients and unnatural sounding stuff that's in normal energy gels and look for more natural alternatives. I'll read the list of ingredients on. This is a torque gel, pretty typical. Read what's in it: maltodextrin, water, fructose, natural flavorings, electrolytes, sodium chloride, that's salt by the way, calcium lactate, potassium chloride, that's also salt, magnesium carbonate, acid, citric acid, preservative, potassium sorbate. One of these, made from bee juice, contains honey, coconut water powder, and sea salt. That's it. 3 ingredients in this: honey, coconut water, and a little bit of salt. That's it. So this is about as natural as you can get in a still, I suppose, manufactured contained product like this. Now, I actually tried using honey as energy gels a few years ago, but the problem with it was very sticky, it was messy, it was difficult to store, and it was just a lot of hassle to try and get it into a container that you could run with. So very interested to see that someone's made this as a commercial product, and there's 2 different ones here. They have a whole range, but this one is Manuka. You know, like the magical honey that supposedly can do anything. I'm a little bit cynical and skeptical about the claims around Manuka, but who knows. And then that one is just regular, good old fashioned bee juice and honey. Now, you might ask, is this good local honey? No, it's not. And I asked that question. I said, where does the honey come from? And they said, well, it can't come from the UK because honey from here has a habit of setting. It'll go hard really, really quickly, and then you won't be able to squeeze it out. Whereas this honey comes from, where does it come from? Various locations, but the honeys they use don't solidify in the same way, and also it keeps the cost down as well. Each one of these, what does it work out at? I think it works out at about £1.50, something like that. Whatever it was, it worked out at significantly cheaper than torque gels, which I found fascinating. So in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try both of these, see what they taste like, and I'm going to eat 2 of them quite close together. Oh, look at that storm damage. I'm going to eat 2 of them quite close together and see if they make me feel sick over the course of a 5-mile or so run. I'm on the lookout for some tree damage on this run as well. Look at this. It's Antrim Castle Gardens in Northern Ireland, and we had Storm Éowyn about a week ago as well, and Storm Éowyn caused devastation in all kinds of places. Look at the state of that. Now, actually interesting, if you look at these trees closely, these ones that come down, mostly you'll notice, this is a great example, look, you see that? That is fungus, that is rot. When big mature trees like this come down, tends to be because there's something wrong with them, they're not entirely healthy. Like again, bark ripped open in that one. It's very, very rare you'll get a healthy tree come down, even in the crazy winds that we had with Storm Éowyn. The types of trees that do come down during a storm like Storm Éowyn, on the other hand, are plantation trees. And if you're interested in finding out a little bit more about that, I just published a video on my main channel, which is called How Storm Éowyn Exposed the Problem with Ireland's Trees. So if you want to get a little bit more information on trees, you can go watch that one. But I'm going to get a couple of miles in now before trying these, so I'll catch up with you in about 15 minutes. I just got trolled with that guy in the main mobility scooter. He come behind me, tooted his horn, which sounds like a possessed duck. It's like, ah! And I turned around and he went whizzing past. He said, "Keep going, young man." Right. He's limited to the paths. I, on the other hand, can go across country. Let's try and race him across here. Chasing the guy on a mobility scooter. I'm gonna get cancelled for this. I think I won that one. Now you gotta try and catch me. Huh? Is it Rocky? How you doing? I feel somewhat. Oh, you got in the back here. You got a big bird. Thanks for the race. I know I'm outclassed. Wind's picking up. That's Loch Ness behind me. And I'm heading down here because there's a tree down here that I really, really like. It's out on a point out in the loch, and I've been going there every time I run this route for years, absolutely years. And I saw some photographs. I think the tree might be gone in the storm, so I'm going to have a look. And then I'll take the gels. There's a pheasant. Who wants to catch a pheasant? Hi, pheasant! Okay. This is it. The tree's down here. Saw some photographs this week that did not fill me with hope. Oh no! I am gutted. Absolutely gutted. Been coming down here for years. That one's broke, this one's broke. This one's split down the middle. The next storm that comes through here is gonna... And do you know what makes me really angry about this? There's a chance this didn't have to happen, because this is no longer a healthy tree, and it's no longer a healthy tree because some absolute little barf maggots lit a fire in there. This whole area underneath that tree was burnt out. I remember saying a year or so ago, or a couple of years ago, that it was going to come down because, that makes me very angry. Look at that. The wood in the inside of the tree, it's as light as balsa wood. It's gone all punky and rotten and dry. Not happy. Okay, right. I'll calm down. Let's try the first one of these gels. Oh, and just in case you want to get the stats, there's 22 grams of carbohydrate per serving. So I've been running now for over 20 minutes, which is normally when they say you should take a gel like this every 20 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try this one and I'll try the other one and down them both and then see if I feel sick. So, okay, that was easy. Although they should maybe have secured those a bit. The problem is when these detach like that, they get spat out and then just end up littering the ground. Tastes like honey. Oh, it's not just like honey. It's not as sweet and sickening as I thought it was going to be. I thought it would be really, really sweet and sickening, but it is really sweet, but it's because it's got the sea salt. Is it sea salt? Yeah, because it's got the sea salt in it. There's like a salty tanginess to it as well. It does have that, it does do that thing that honey does, which is, I don't know why it does, it was sort of, had like a slight burn in the back of the throat. Right, I gotta down this entire thing. It's not as liquidy as the Torque gels. It's a little bit thicker than I thought it might be. You can see it's taken me a while to get the entire gel done. I mean, that's not a huge problem. What else are you going to be doing while you're running? Right. Okay. Now let's try the Manuka one. Now you might think, why am I not spacing these out? I'm not spacing these out because, why am I not running? Because I want this to simulate what it would be like when you're in the middle of a really long race and your stomach is already starting to get a bit woo. So I'm deliberately trying to upset my stomach, or at least create the conditions similar to a race where, where my stomach might be likely to get upset. So basically, if I don't feel sick after downing 2 of these, that's a good sign, right? This is the Manuka one, and as I said, Manuka is that magical honey that claims to do all kinds of extra magical stuff. Whether it does or not, I don't know. I think there is evidence for it. Like, if you put it in wounds, it can promote healing and that kind of stuff. But it has to have, let's see. It's got 15 grams of MgO50 plus Manuka. So only half of it is Manuka. It's not all Manuka. It's 50% Manuka. I have no idea if that's a lot of Manuka as well. I mean, how much Manuka does one need to be sufficiently Manukaed? It's the most I've ever said Manuka. Let's try it. I'm expecting a slightly different flavour. It is a slightly different flavour. Oh, that's much richer. It's got, it's a bit more malty. It has, I think that I could say that has more floral notes to it. It's thicker. It's definitely harder to get out. Here's the colour of it, just slightly. I'm doing this in real time just so you get a good idea of how long it would take to down one of these. Getting that sharp taste in my mouth again. Oh, that is quite sharp. You really, that's a little bit, it's a little bit heading towards slightly sickening. But then I have just downed 2 in a row really quickly. Another thing I haven't done, which you probably should do, is have a drink. And I didn't bring anything to drink with me, so okay, there we go. Right, so I think if I was going to use that during a race or an event, I would probably consume it a bit slower than that. Oh, it's fine now. Oh, okay, that's interesting. I did have like I felt a little bit sickened when I was downing so much of it at once. But now that it's gone, I actually feel fine. So I'll check in 20 minutes and see if I feel sick. Oop. An obstacle. Am I going to have the energy to get over this obstacle? Whoa, Manuka energy! Manuka! Honey power! Ooh. Let's hope that doesn't go anywhere. Okay, it's 20 minutes later and I pretty much feel no different than if I consumed any 2 energy gels at the same time without drinking any water. I feel just a teensy little bit queasy. Not enough I think I'm going to be sick. Just, it's more I have an awareness of my stomach in a way that I didn't have before I took the gels. I don't feel sick, it wouldn't affect my performance or anything like that. But that for me is a very successful test. Because that's the worst case scenario to try those gels. No water, pretty much an empty stomach. I think maybe the honey is slightly more sickening, at least at the point you're eating it, than other gels are. And I think that's because honey has that kind of like almost acidic sharpness that catches you on the back of your throat. And it was a thicker consistency. So those 2 things I found when I was actually downing it did make me feel a little bit more slightly sickened than I would with the normal gel. But once I actually swallowed it, they don't seem to have reacted on me any different from any other gels that I've used. Now the question is, how would they actually perform if I was taking like 6 of them over the course of a long race. That I don't know, but the thing is, I don't really use gels like that. I tend to carry maybe 3 gels on a long run, and that'd be about it, and then I'd mix it up with some other snacks and other foods. So I am very, very rarely in a situation where I'd be fueled purely just on gels. But yeah, no, happy with that. I like the idea that they're totally natural, just 3 ingredients, and that bees make them. We're keeping bees in employment here. More jobs for bees. That can only be a good thing. We need more bees, actually. We need bees. In fact, if more people, they talk about how there's a crisis, there's not enough bees, right? And we need more bees to pollinate our food, and if our food doesn't get pollinated, well, maybe one way of doing that is actually to consume more honey, because if there's a bigger demand for honey, then maybe that means bee breeders, if that's a thing, will breed more bees or have more beehives. I'm not sure. Actually, I'd be interested. Does anybody know? If honey consumption goes up, will that lead to an increase in the bee population, which will benefit us in other ways? Because that'll be quite good. An all-natural energy gel that actually helps the environment. Yeah, I'd be interested to know if anybody knows the answer to that. If we eat more honey, will there be more bees? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think about the idea of a honey-based gel. I definitely don't think it's going to be for everybody. Yeah, let me know. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. And the next video on here, I think I'm going to be talking about about a topic I have very strong feelings about, and that is anti-chafing measures.